There are moments that slice into your life so fast, so quietly, that you don't even feel the pain until the blood starts dripping. For me, it was a Tuesday. Not the kind of day you expect your marriage to die. Just a regular, gray, uneventful Tuesday afternoon. I'd come home early from work, no warning, just one of those rare days when the job finished ahead of schedule. I thought I'd surprise my wife, Terry. I thought I'd cook her dinner, maybe share a bottle of wine. Something to break the routine we'd settled into. The predictable rhythm of two people who still talked and touched, but hadn't really seen each other in months. I didn't think anything was wrong. Not really. Sure, things had been distant. She'd been distracted lately, laughing more at her phone than at anything I said, but I chalked that up to stress. Work. Life. I never thought betrayal was something she was capable of. But that day, I saw it with my own eyes. And the image has never left me. The front door wasn't locked. That was the first sign. Terry always locked the door, even if she was just upstairs. A strange instinct kicked in the moment I stepped inside. Something was off. The silence wasn't the usual kind. It was heavy, staged. I set my keys on the kitchen counter and stood there, listening. Then I heard it. Laughter. A voice that wasn't mine. A man's voice. Muffled, close, intimate. My heartbeat thudded in my ears as I walked down the hallway, past the stairs, toward the living room where the sound was coming from. I turned the corner, and there they were. She didn't hear me. Not at first. She was too busy sitting on the couch, her back to me, hair down, wearing nothing but a robe that had clearly just been put back on. He was shirtless, smiling, hands on her legs like he owned her. I froze, unable to move, as if my body had short-circuited. I felt like I had stepped out of time, into some alternate version of my life where everything I thought was solid had turned to ash. Then she turned and saw me. And her face, it wasn't guilt. Not at first. It was shock. Then dread. Then, finally, panic. She stood up too fast, knocking over a glass of wine, stammering something I didn't register. The man looked at me, eyes wide, trying to explain something he hadn't even been invited to explain. I didn't speak. I couldn't. I just turned, walked to the wall where our wedding photo hung, and ripped it down. The frame cracked in my hands as I threw it onto the floor. Then I grabbed the decorative lamp she'd insisted we buy on vacation last year, the one she loved, and smashed it against the wall. Glass scattered. Her voice rose, desperate now, pleading. But it was too late. I didn't hit him. That's what people always ask afterward. No, I didn't touch him. I wasn't interested in making him feel pain. Not in that moment. I wanted her to see what she had destroyed. I wanted her to feel the weight of it. So I broke the things she cared about. Not all of them. Just enough to send a message. The house didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a crime scene. My hands were shaking. My breathing shallow. I walked past them, up the stairs, into our bedroom, my bedroom, and grabbed the duffel bag from the closet. I didn't pack with care. I grabbed shirts, jeans, socks, whatever I could reach. Then I grabbed my laptop and left. She followed me outside, barefoot, still pleading. Her lover stayed inside. Coward. In the truck, I sat there for a full 5 minutes before I could turn the key. The world outside the windshield looked different. The trees, the houses, the sky, like I had woken up in a place I didn't recognize. I drove without knowing where I was going. I didn't call anyone. I didn't even cry. I just let the silence eat at me. That night, I stayed at a roadside motel outside of town, the kind of place where no one asks questions. I stared at the ceiling until morning. The image of her and that man burned into my skull. Every time I closed my eyes, it was there, like a brand. The days that followed were a blur of autopilot. I went to work. I kept my head down. I didn't tell anyone, not my parents, not my sister, not my best friend. I needed to think, and I couldn't do that with a chorus of opinions in my ear. She texted me, called, left voicemails. The tone shifted from panic to apology to desperation. I listened to one of them. Just one. In it, she said, I made a mistake. That was it. A mistake. Like she'd taken the wrong exit on the highway or dropped a glass. I deleted it. I didn't need to hear another word. But silence doesn't last. After 4 days, I went back. Not to forgive. Not to reconcile. I went back because half of my life was still in that house, and I wasn't going to let her walk away with the rest of it. When I pulled into the driveway, her car was gone. I took a deep breath and walked inside. The smell of her perfume was still in the air. It made me nauseous. I went upstairs, packed the rest of my things. clothes, tools, the watch my dad gave me. Then I stood in the doorway and looked at our bedroom one last time. The place where I had loved her, trusted her, dreamed with her. Now it was just a room. As I walked out, I noticed the guest room door was slightly ajar. That room had been closed for months. We never used it. But something caught my eye. A pair of shoes, his shoes. Still there. Like he thought this was his place now. I walked in, picked them up, and threw them out the front door into the yard. Petty? Maybe. But I was done being polite. Done being silent. That night, I changed my number. Blocked her from everything. I told my job I needed 2 weeks. They didn't ask why. Just said take what I needed. I rented a small place across town, barely furnished, but quiet. I slept on a mattress on the floor, cooked the same meals on repeat, and kept my mind busy with anything I could: books, long walks, cleaning. But it always came back. The moment, the look on her face, the laugh I heard before she saw me. And the worst part? I still loved her. Or, at least, I loved who I thought she was. I replayed memories like a broken record, trying to find the moment when things shifted. Was it me? Was I blind? Did I push her into it? Or did she just take the first opportunity to lie? I thought about the small things, the way she pulled away from hugs, the night she claimed she was tired, the vacations she said we couldn't afford. I saw it all now. I just hadn't wanted to. Then one evening, a knock came at the door of my new place. It was quiet, hesitant. I opened it slowly, half expecting her. But it wasn't. It was her sister, Emily, someone I hadn't spoken to since the wedding. Her face was pale, unsure. She held out a small envelope and said only, "She asked me to give this to you." I told her she was an idiot. She didn't stay, just turned and walked away. I stood in the doorway holding that envelope like it was radioactive. Inside was a single letter, handwritten, long, filled with tear-stained confessions, regrets, desperate words meant to soften her choices. She said it had started 6 months ago. Said she didn't mean for it to happen. Said she hated herself. Said she loved me. Said she wanted to fix it. I tore the letter in half and dropped it in the trash. I didn't need to read the rest. I already knew the ending. But it lit something in me. A resolve. Because part of me was still paralyzed in grief, still waiting for some kind of reckoning. But there wouldn't be one, unless I gave it to myself. So I started putting the pieces of my life back together. Not with therapy or affirmations, but with something real: clarity. I wrote everything down. Not for revenge, not for anyone else, just for me. I told the story of what happened, every detail, in a notebook. It started as a page, then a chapter, then 100 pages. I was bleeding it out of me, one sentence at a time. Then I called her. I know, I shouldn't have, but I needed it. Not closure, I hate that word. No, I needed finality. A controlled demolition of the last brick that held her in my life. She answered on the second ring. Her voice cracked when she said my name. I told her I was done, that I had no more questions, no more room in my life for her, that she had broken something she could never fix, and no amount of regret would change that. Then I told her I'd be sending over the divorce papers by the end of the week. I told her not to respond, not to call, not to send another letter. I told her she'd never hear from me again. She whispered something. I didn't catch it. I didn't want to. I hung up,